Okay, got a beautiful day to work today. Back out here with the Vermeer BC635a. This is part 3 of this playlist. And we're just getting this old chipper back up to snuff. Bought it at an auction as is, used, and just going through everything and making sure it works how it should. So one of the things I was looking at when I took it off in part 1 or 2 is this hole here. I didn't think that should be a hole, and it turns out it's supposed to be, I thought it was for letting water out, but this thing says like dust, I forget what it said, dust release or something. I guess it will let the dust come out. I don't know. I just know it's supposed to be there. There we go. It's just got like a flap. It can open, let stuff out, but not when it'll suck together when when anything goes to get inside it. Also on the chute rotation lever here, lock, I noticed this pin was kind of, well, there's a couple things. Let me get this camera back a little farther. It's not tied to the clip, and also the clip doesn't seem to be the right size. There's a lot of play there, and I don't know that would even really lock it, the way it's got so much play there. Wow, that was a bad shot there, huh? So I'm just going to put it bigger. I've got 2 different sizes. The pin diameter is different. Let me see which one's going to work. Fits. Can we go up to the big one? Yeah, that's the size it's supposed to be. Okay. I'm just going to try to put this through here, just so you don't lose it. There. Now, I'm sure it's locked when it's supposed to be locked. The last thing you'd want to have this thing do is to swing out into traffic, because it's, you know, centered on this side, and if that flipped out into traffic, you'd be in a bad way. Okay, the next thing on this, I took the, there's a double lever system here, one for choke, one for throttle. I've taken it off in the previous video, and I tried, the detent wasn't working to keep it in the full speed, and it kept creeping back. I tried bending it so the detent would fall down, unsuccessful. Gave up and just bought a new one so it will work the way it should work. Got the original Kohler stuff. Figured that would fit best. Didn't know if there was aftermarket available anyway, but we'll just get into this. I just had these 2 screws, I think was all that was holding everything. And of course these cables, 1 each. Throttle, choke. So just to refresh, in case you didn't watch, or in case you didn't watch the original video, this is the original assembly, and there was, I broke the plastic here, but there was a little groove there that went down and up, and this little tang was supposed to catch in that. It's supposed to be kind of spring-loaded in the down position. I was trying to get it back, and I ended up snapping the plastic piece, and anyway, I gave up. But here's what's funny. The new one you get, it's got brand new cables too. Like you're going to need a cable that, you know, is a foot long. How's that going to go bad? But here's what's even humorous to me is they didn't pop for the free sticker. So now I'm going to have to order that sticker. Unbelievable. You get the 2 cables you almost surely don't need, and then you don't get the sticker, which you do need. So I'm going to do these one at a time. Let me see how tight I got you in there. Get you in there a little tighter. Maybe not quite that tight. Something like that. One of these is facing in the upward direction. One of these is facing down. Same thing here. I got this one facing in the upward direction, so I've decided to change that one first. Let's see. Maybe they give you these on here because they're a pain in the ass to get off, because I think, if I remember right, they were a pain in the ass to get off. But if I wanted to change them, I've got to take this air box thing off. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but I don't feel like readjusting all that stuff. I'm going to try to get these out of here. Bring you back when I get them. Looks like I'm going to kind of have to do both of these at the same time. I've got the one in already. I'm going to pry this one out of its holder, the second one. Make this as long as we can. Get it down through. So far this looks doable. Oops, this one's got to go up and over. Maybe take that one back off for a sec, get this one more oriented to where it should be. Sure. Then that one goes right in. I think we're good. Let me get those little screws. That hanging up on? Weird. Pretty lined up. Let's see if that'll do it. And let me get a close-up. I'll show you that detent and how that thing is supposed to act. See how it's supposed to stay there. The little notch falls right down in it. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I'm trying to do it slow. It kind of falls down in a hole where it's happy. Here's a close-up. Here's the little groove where it tries to go in. And then on that there, you can see they've punched a notch through the middle. So when that notch falls down in there, she stays at full throttle like it's supposed to. So, alright, we're good except for the sticker. But I know the bottom one's throttle, but I'll buy that sticker just to make it look professional. Alright, the next area of concern is this whole mess, which has been spliced at least one time, maybe here, don't know about here, and for sure here. But more importantly, or maybe equally as important, safety. The chains that it came with are way too long for what I need. And also, if you try to get this out and put just that in, you can't even get the chain off it. They must have opened up the link and then reclosed it. So I'm just gonna garbage can these. They didn't even have hooks at the end, and these things are kind of rusty, and I had to use a wrench. You can't even just, you know, turn them with your hand. So I don't like those kind of turnbuckles as it is. So I'm going to replace the whole chain with the type that I like to use. So to show you what type I like to use. I like to use the ones with the retainer. It's like spring loaded. These, you put them under there and they just won't fall off, and they're made with the proper, you know, hook, so it's made for trailer towing. Odd thing about these, this is one piece. They have hooks on both sides. Luckily it comes in a 2-pack, but why would you need hooks on both sides? And this one's going to come right out because they just about got it. They didn't really even close it up quite enough to, well, I guess it is, but that'll just make it easier to take apart because I'm going to bolt mine on one side and clip it to the vehicle. So let's get after these old chains. Just got a bolt that goes all the way through, one chain on one side, one chain on the other. Standard setup. 3/4. Wow. No, not that either. Alright. So on the one side, I clipped this down a little more. It just seemed like originally that thing wanted to come out of there too easily, you know, like it just had almost enough room to sneak out. The only day you're going to need this is on your worst day. So, and then the other side, I'm just going to cut the chain link with a cutoff saw instead of trying to pry that open because it's pretty heavy metal. Probably going to be a hard bugger to hold, isn't it? Hot tamale. Look at that. I'm going to leave them full length. From what I measured, my vehicle won't need it, but if I put it on a different vehicle, you never know. You could always shorten them by twisting them a little bit. Do the same thing to the other one. I'll bring it back. Alright, here we go. Got my chains cut. I'm going to put 2 washers. Chain on the other side, 2 washers, nice stainless steel stuff. And I am putting a proper lock nut. It had that locker on there before, so we don't need nylock and we don't need to double nut it. Beautiful. Alright, we got both of our safety chains. Plenty of length there for any vehicle that I have anyway. I left them full length. And the next thing is the wiring. Now, normally I'd go LED and just replace everything, but I don't know where I'm going to get those little disc ones. And all the lenses are good. I assume these are just, you know, from the year, wouldn't be LED, they would be just standard incandescent lamps, but they're all good. So I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to assume they work. And I'm just going to go change the plug on the front to what I need for mine, which is a 4 flat, and then just verify that all the lights work, the lamps. and go with it that route. I don't think there's a need to replace them on this particular one. If I even had one cracked lens, I'd say let's put them all LED, but no need. So what I've got now is the round style connector, which is not what I have on my car. Then there's that mass of connectors, goes down to a lot of tape. I see more connectors here, and I just now found even more connectors down here. So you want to make a bad you want to get a bad lighting system, just make that many splices in a 4-foot area. So as what I'm going to use for the wiring, it's this pre-made connector kit. One side is for the trailer, one side is for the vehicle, and it has wire in between, so you can cut it in half and use one half and half. I need to use it all for one side. Just make sure you find the right side for the trailer, because the vehicle will be the exact opposite one, and then you screwed up. Alright, so I've got the cord laid out there about the same length as the old one, and what I'm noticing is I got the 60-inch, which I thought was going to be ridiculously too long, and it just barely makes it to the connector where I want it to, the last connectors I can see here. So good thing I bought the 60, let's just say that, but I wouldn't have minded another few more inches, but I guess I got the loom there, so we'll be tying in right where they are, right where they started. And the good news is, even better news maybe, these are standardized colors. I forget which ones are which at the moment. One is running lights, one is left turn, right turn, and stop lights. So we see the same 4 colors here on the plug side, and we're hopefully, and actually this one somebody did a nice job. They used the proper waterproof connectors, shrinks. And let's see if the trailer side, I'm calling this the plug side and this the trailer side. This thing's really in the way, that little clip. We might end up taking him out of there. Yes, we have matching in and out wires, so the trailer is standardized, which will make this repair go very easy. I won't have to guess and test things with a test light and such. I pulled this down away from that clip so I can get at it. It's driving me nuts. Just get some nice room here so I can get these wires without having to fight the whole time. Oh, they spliced the white one farther back. That's interesting. How did that get farther back? I'm going to have to check that underneath. Yeah, I don't know if you can see under there. Let me get you under there. The white wire got pulled back somehow, so I'm going to pull it up forward again like the others. I don't need that hanging down. There we go. Missed that on camera. It came out so easy. I want to push it back just for the sake of watching you pull a wire, watching me pull a wire. But now they're all the same length, as they probably started that way. We'll get rid of all this old crap wire and go with our new 4 flat. I could see already someday I'm going to be changing these wires. If you look, that wire is not all nice bright copper. It's got a little browning to it. So someday I'll replace all the wiring, but I looked underneath there. It's all in the looms. It's all zip tied up where it needs to be. For now, I'm not messing with it. If anything, later on, as I said, I'll change it to LEDs. I'll probably put a new harness under there if I ever was to have it that long. And those take no power at all, so even if you put LED lamps in the original sockets, you'd probably get away with the crappy connection because they'll still light. You need so little power to run those. One little strand would run it. I mean, these wires aren't green and crusty, they're just a little brown, which, you know, probably because it was close to that old connector, it probably got a little water in there at one time, but not bad. Let me go get some connectors, bring you back. Okay, I've got my little heat shrink assortment here out. Terminals, spade lugs, different things like that, ring terminals. And they go by colors if you're not familiar. Red is good for 22 to 18 gauge. Blue is 16 to 14 gauge wire, and yellow is 12 to 10 gauge. And you know, it's just whatever can fit inside the terminal. Probably, if you were really good, and like I'm taking these and twisting them a little so the little hairs kind of go inside, you're right on the verge, but I don't think the 22 to 18 gauge is right. Most likely the blue ones, 16 to 14 gauge, will be the best. I'm going to start by just putting them on this side because it's loose and I can put it wherever I want. And then when I go over here, I'm bound to holding it up in the air here. It's a little bit easier then. Some of these are a little long, so I'll cut them back. You want these, I don't know how long to say, but it's basically got to be half of, you know, there's a stopper in the middle. Half of that. So if you go too long, all you got is it's sticking out in this part here, and if you go too short you may not get a good crimp on it. So you know, you just have to kind of eyeball it. I know about what that looks like, but like that is where I like to be. And I found that side cutters gives me a much cleaner cut than some old worn out pair of multi-use tools. We'll do the same on this. Just get this nice and flat. And here, yes, this wire is thicker, so we would want the 14 gauge, 12 to 14, or 16 to 14 gauge, sorry, which is the blue. And these wires are a little stiffer too, which is usually not desirable on, they usually put it real fine hair wires on automotive stuff. It never really breaks then, even if you got a lot of vibration and, you know, from either from the machine itself or from the vehicle or going down the road or however it goes. They usually try to use the multi-stranded real thin stuff, and this is kind of really thicker than you would think it would be. Probably a reason for that. I'm going to start by just holding it in there. It's just much easier. Then stick the wire, then you could crimp it. That one's getting a little hairy. And I'm noticing within my pack here, I must have bought two different brands. Two of them are the dark blue, two of them are the light blue. That's why I had to change my position. This one has seems to have a longer collar of insulation or heat shrink than the other one. Kind of tricked me there for a minute. That's what happens when you refill your kit and you didn't use up all your old ones. Check all those. Okay, this couldn't be simpler. We'll just match up the wires on the other side here. Let me get you framed up for that. Bring in a little. Hopefully then we won't miss the shot if I put you too far in. Same kind of thing. I'm going to use this to hold my connector and get it ready to crimp. I've got the white one. brown one. Still got you in frame? Sure do. Yellow. And the last. And it just fell right out of there. Hey, I won't even edit it. I screwed up. Okay. Plan B. Okay, so I've got this one already crimped. The wire wasn't in it. So I'm going to try to save as much as I can so this thing doesn't have a big lump, because one's shorter and then it's going to pull that one if it ever gets yanked. Let's try to save as much wire as we can. We'll probably only be down a ½ an inch by the time we get done here. There we go. There's some of the original stripping right there. Start again. Now we got it. Alright, got all the wires in. Now comes the fun heat shrinking stuff, and basically this whole thing is a heat shrink tube, and you just want it to shrink down and be weather tight so the water doesn't get at your copper, and it helps kind of hold the wires too. The mechanical connection's already been made in the middle, but can't hurt. I just got a little torch. You could use a hair dryer, you can use propane, anything you got will work on this heat shrink. It doesn't take much heat at all. If you use a regular lighter, I think, be plenty of heat. You don't have to burn it, but you want it sealed good. And I'll just do that on all of them, bring you back. Okay, got you back here. They're all shrunk down. You can see how that kind of helps hold that wire real tight. And as expected, the green one is a little shorter, so if anything gets yanked, that one's going to take the hit first. So I'll try to make sure this is tied down real good with zip ties or something up here, so that won't ever get pulled. It shouldn't ever get pulled, but you always want to make sure this isn't dragging on the ground or whatever. On this trailer, I won't run them. You know, I could probably run it. I don't know if you can see that. There's a hole here, but that's for if you want to shorten this tongue. Probably, I don't know if it makes it easier to back, or if you just if it gets squirrely out on the highway, you make it longer or shorter. I don't know, but it's designed to move, so I'm going to make it so it's able to move. I've just put the original wire loom, put it in there as best I can. They don't all fit now because it's fatter there, but I'm just going to close it. I like this for abrasion resistance, especially because it's going to be about where this little pin likes to live. So I'm going to wrap it back up. And sorry about the background noise if that bothers you, but perfect day for the neighbors to get done some of their last cutting and leaf gathering, so I can't blame them, just because I'm out here trying to film a movie. It is what it is. Sounds like fall to me, that's all. And it is a beautiful day, by the way. I'm filming in the shade here, but it is gorgeous. Alright, get you backed up here a little bit. Feed that through there. That'll be a perfect spot to start routing the wires. Get it back up along the frame like it should be. then I think I'll just get some zip ties for the rest. I think that's going to be the best way to hold that, because that way if I did have to shorten the tongue, I don't think I'll ever have to, but I could just snip the zip tie here, let the wire come back however far it needs to be, and it still won't be hitting the ground. I'll be good. So these are the longest zip ties I've got. Let's see if they'll make it one piece. No, they will not. Little hack, tip, you can put two together real easy. Just zip them to each other. I'm sure you knew that one already. I'm not going to put it on the bottom, even though it would protect the wire from sunlight and such, for reasons like this. I've got it jacked up. Sometimes you'll sit this on something, maybe because the other jack went into the dirt real easy upon rainfall. So if I put the wire on the bottom, all you would do is pinch it every time you try to jack it up or lift it or position it. So I'm going to put it on the side. That way I can see where it's at. I'm going to try to make this go to the corner instead of in the middle. I don't know if you can see that with the connection between one and the other. Just because I think I'll get a better grip that way. I could be wrong. Now what if I bring this one over? No, that won't work like I thought. Good enough. Guess it did, but this one didn't perfectly line up because it's just the way that length is. How that one's got both of the clasps on the other side. Plan B. Pull this one through farther so that doesn't happen again. This one I'm going to double up because this is the last one I'm going to do. I'm not going to go all the way to the front, of course, because that won't leave it any flexibility with the vehicle as the vehicle turns. So I'm going to put two here just to give it a little more strain relief. And I can see one error I've made. I've got the chain in this one. Didn't even realize that was over there. So I'll get those and bring you back. I'll cut that one off. And you can see how I did these. I kind of lined them up. I mean, little stuff like that. I just like it when I look at it. Just shows you put some time into it. Of all the other hackery I do, I try to do some things neatly. Alright. Got my double, my single. That's not in a chain now. I guess that chain's there to in case the pin comes out, it's a safety so your tongue stays connected to the trailer. Now I imagine there's a few of you that are saying, why did this guy take this running machine and put all this money and work into it? And the answer is because I wanted to have all the new parts and work for me, not the next guy. But also, while you're working on stuff, you find other stuff that's really, really wrong. Like Can you see it? That nut, the bolt that's in there, that nut is barely got a thread in. It's not at all contacting the nylock, which is the part on the outside. That nut is barely caught on there, and there's only two holding it. So some of you say, oh, that's not going anywhere, but why do you think they put the other bolt the proper length? It's because somebody lost one. And while I'm working on my wires, I find this. So to any naysayers that say I'm doing unnecessary work, that is necessary work. And I found it only because I was looking at this thing very carefully and working around all areas of it, and there it is right in front of my face. Let's see if it wants to play nicely. Let's turn it on the other end. Bottom one is the one I want to go for first, because I'm going to take this one to the hardware store because I don't have bolts that big, that long. Well, I guess it wasn't really going to fall off, but wow. Okay, maybe I'll only take off the top one. I know it'll come off easily because it's barely got any thread on there. Yeah, they barely caught that thing, although it was on there pretty good. That's only an electric impact, but not the point. Yeah, that could have gone bad. So I just got back from the hardware store, and they had exactly what I needed. I got two. I'm going to get this one off no matter what I have to do, just so I have the adjustability factor. $4.99. This is 2021 prices. $4.99. $4.99. $2.79 each. Unbelievable. Okay, I'm over it. The good news is they had what I needed exactly, and enough of them to get the job done. So that's what really counts to me. Hence the fact that I bought them. Brand new nylock, grade 8, everything grade 8. Give that one another honk. Good. Now, off camera, I'm going to do what it takes to get that other one off. Alright, I got her out of there, and I'm going to put it down. I wanted the adjustability, but I'm just going to adjust it now. My truck is only a downsized truck, so generally I'm going to be in a low setting, trying to get the trailer high as possible, not the other way around. It was kind of in the middle, so, but I'm going to go for the high side. I also flipped it over because I noticed the rating, the ring rating is there, so I flipped it what was upside down from what they had it. Bring you around the front here and we'll tighten those up. Alright, got you around the front here. Let's tighten this thing on. Alright, now we got two nuts fully engaged with the nylock. Brand new, adjustable now because it's not stuck on there. Like, I guess my fears of it coming loose was unfounded because I did do quite a bit of work to get that nut and bolt out of there. So wouldn't have gone anywhere, but now I have it adjustable on the road at any time. Oh yeah, it's the simple pleasures in life, folks. Brand new chains, brand new wires, ready to go. Alright, this one's pretty much wrapped up. I found one of these on one side of it. They stick out, I think, to help if you're backing it with a large box truck, to stick off the sides and help you see where you're going. But I just went out and bought 2 brand new sticks, and I'm going to put them in. And there's a little pocket on the left and the right, and mine are about half full, only going in a little bit, about half full of probably wood chips. So I'm going to have to dig that out before I can. Nothing's easy on this one. You can see some smuts down in there. I'm trying to chuck this so it's as long as possible to get that stuff out of there. Some of it came out on the bit. Let's see if this goes in there a little better though. That's the key. There's still stuff in there, but it's going down. Let's get the other side. Oh, that one's really stuffed. Oh, I gotta get you in there for the shot. Got most of it. See if it wants to lay in there good. Sure it does. Well, there you have it, folks. Still needs a sticker for the throttle and choke assembly. Still needs a check of the lights, the light lamps themselves. With the addition of those items, I hereby declare this one Wildwood certified. Thanks for watching.